To Noah, congratulations on 1 year. That's awesome. So I remember going on the internet one night and seeing this Chosen and wondered another Jesus story. And I decided about 10:30 at night to start watching it. So I did binge it, and I loved it. And I sent a compliment, and I also sent, I guess, an opinion on something. Someone wrote me back, and they were thanking me for my opinion, and then said something to the effect of, why don't you get in touch with Against the Tide Media? They may interest you.
I was brought to Against the Tide Media by its creator, Noah Bennett, and I was brought to him by his sister Jenna Sue Bennett, who created the fan page for a streaming series that I write for. I'm not going to mention it because that would be wrong.
So, before I started Against the Tide, I started out as what I like to call myself in those days, a bored YouTuber. I had 10 different YouTube channels. Yeah, I know, that's a lot. And subscribers? Well, it wasn't exactly 5 million or anything like that. The Christmas pilot, The Shepherd, was actually the first I've seen of The Chosen. I remember my sister Jenna, back in, I believe it was 2018, she told me and my mom, hey, you know VidAngel, they're making this series about the life of Jesus, and they're basing it off of this short film about the birth of Christ through the perspective of the shepherds. And I said, oh, okay, wow. VidAngel? Is that website that takes out unwanted content or something? I didn't know they made movies. And representation of the Bible in film, from my view anyways, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad or anything like that, but it needed to be real. It needed to seem real, needed to feel real. So we turned on The Shepherd, and throughout the whole time I was watching, right through the end, I was just like, wow, this is really good. I can't wait for this series. But, oh my goodness. I had no idea what I was coming into. So, when the first episode came out, I Have Called You By Name, I was just like, I mean, it was unlike anything I've ever seen before in biblical Christian media. It was real in the way that I had hoped and wished and prayed for Christian media for a very long time. And just to see it playing up on the screen, I was just like, wow. They certainly got it right. And I knew that I wanted to stop posting videos of my dogs or a movie review or Amazon products that we bought and just put my all into this. But what was really the moment, the click, that made me decide that? For a couple weeks I started watching behind the scenes footage of The Chosen and everything like that, and I was like, wow, not only is this a great show, but it looks like we got some great people working behind the scenes, and the actors and everything. I mean, half of the beauty of the show is the family, the community, but we'll get into that later. I was watching one of their videos, I believe it's called The Heart of the Chosen. And I mean, if you see the video, it is such a beautiful, I mean, The Heart of the Chosen. Perfect name for it. I encourage everyone to head over to their YouTube channel and find that video. That was the click moment that really made me realize that this show was shining with the love of God and the Holy Spirit. That he was definitely keeping a close eye on this, on what was going on here, and conducting it. And putting my all into this. So what were the first steps? Well, I went on IMDb, looked up The Chosen, looked at the names of the cast and crew, went on Facebook, just started friending cast member after crew member after cast member after crew member, and Giavani Cairo, who plays Thaddeus, was the first to get back with me. And after that, I was just like shaking with excitement. Oh, I can't believe that the guy who plays Thaddeus friended me. I can send him a note now. Yay! That might have been a little too dramatic. So I sent a message to Giavani, and he replied with this very kind, very welcoming message.
I remember Noah reaching out and just wanted to get my take and see if I was interested in talking about The Chosen, and not only how it's affected my life in such a positive way, but how it's affected, so many people who've watched the show and come in contact with it. And Noah approached me so graciously and seemed like a great kid right off the bat, and I was like, yeah, it'd be awesome to connect and talk about it.
Even stated the possibility that he could do it the next day, except there was a problem with that. I didn't have a host yet. I suppose I could have hosted the interview myself, but unlike now, I didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera back then. And for one thing, I sounded like this. There were a few people who were interested, but all of them ended up declining later on. It was at that moment when everybody declined, and I was kind of in a moment of despair. And I was with my mom, and it was like, at the same exact moment, we thought, Darren.
My original connection was with Noah's older sister, Jenna.
Now, Darren and I weren't exactly buddies or anything like that. I didn't know him very well, to be honest. The only way I knew him is from he talked with my sister Jenna a couple times about The Encounter, which is a show that he writes for. It's a PureFlix original series about Jesus coming to people like nowadays, which is also a very good show that I would recommend. So I sent a message to Darren asking him if he wanted to be a part of this, and he basically sent me this message back saying, if you think I'm right for the job, and to directly quote him, hey Noah, if I can truly help you, I will, but maybe we should further discuss to see if I'm the right block for the job.
And I was asked to interview someone for a show, for a class assignment. Had no idea what that meant.
Now Darren had never seen The Chosen before, so I sent him that scene from the wedding at Cana with Giavani, and also the trailer to The Chosen. So that evening, I had my first call with Darren Scott Jacobs, which is a day I will never forget.
And then Noah comes out of nowhere and he goes, Darren, would you be willing to interview one of the cast members of The Chosen? And I go, Noah, I don't do this kind of stuff. I go, what do you mean? And he goes, well, he goes, I have an idea. This is always Noah's, I have an idea. And I go, okay. And he goes, well, I just think that, I could create, that fan-based site, and we could interview the cast members. But he goes, he told me, he said it was for a school project. So I'm thinking, I'll help this kid get maybe a B, hopefully, with me in it. But I'll do it. I said, sure, I'll do it.
Darren saw that clip, and he saw the trailer that I sent him, and he was just saying to me, Noah, wow, this show looks very good. And he was talking some about how the characters seem real, how the people were authentic, and it wasn't just Caucasians with fake beards and everything. But had a great call with Darren.
I had looked at The Chosen, but I was kind of on the fringe with it.
Right.
Because I'm so tainted about Christian entertainment. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I'm like, wow, what is going on here? And then I contacted a friend of mine who, has been a screenwriter for the longest time and asked him what he thought. And he said, do this. let's do this. He goes, this would be fun for you. There's something really big going on here, and I feel like I just kind of stumbled into it. I almost said no, and then I was sitting there going, why wouldn't I do this? It'd be cool to meet some actors. Maybe I could see what's going on with what they're doing with this. I had no idea. I'd be talking to you today. None. But I'm going for the ride, man, and I'm gonna ride this wave the best I can.
I'm so glad that I took that call. For that assignment, I got to give Noah an A+.
So after that, I connected Darren and Giavani by phone call. And boy, I'll tell you one thing, that phone call was just like, click, click. I mean, we hit it off right away. We were just friends right off the bat. We had a great conversation. As Darren called it, a stellar conversation. Besides a few technical difficulties, we were basically ready to get forward in doing the interview. But we did all agree that we should probably consult with Dallas first to see how he felt about it. And I had talked to Dallas a couple times before this. I sent him a message, like basically just congratulating him for the show and thanking him. So we had communicated back and forth some in the past. So I sent Dallas a message asking him, and he just texted me back, said, "You're good. You're good." That's Dallas for you. Very simple talk guy. Says when he needs to say it, when he needs to say it.
Dallas has been so awesome.
Dallas is just a beast. He's just...
Yeah, and he, out of the blue, he private messaged me and goes, Darren, I wouldn't do it this way. I'd do it this way. And it was a specific thing we were doing, and he was right. But at the end of it, he said, you guys are doing a good job, though. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And I looked at it and I thought, I was so thankful that he came in, gave us the ability to keep moving forward, but it was like we had to be careful in this particular area. It's boring, I won't go into it.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was kind of like, think about this, and then think about that. And I was like, oh, didn't even see that.
I was actually sick around the time we were scheduling the interview with a sore throat. This was before the COVID crazies, so probably wasn't that, thank goodness. But this was around my birthday time also, so that wasn't much fun. But I mean, these were some of the best days of my life.
First person I had the privilege to interview was Giavani Cairo, who plays Thaddeus. He does a great job with that. Love the dude. We've created a friendship together.
I took my iPhone. I have an 11 Pro now. It was 7 Plus, I think.
Yeah.
And I set it, I made a stack of books and DVDs, and I set it up at an angle, and then I didn't have lighting at all. So I tried all these different things of lighting. Then a friend of mine said, I have one of those huge umbrellas, you know, the big giant umbrella.
Yeah.
Brought it over, and we're setting up stuff, and I'm looking at the phone thinking, I hope it doesn't fall, because it costs a lot of money. I'm talking to Giavani, and the whole time, there was times, if you look at that interview, you can tell. I'm nervous about it because his first one, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm trying to figure out how to even do it. What button do I click? But I'm thinking, you know, is my phone gonna fall? You know,
I know,
I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to get myself, you know, and that it's okay. And
You should see how this looks. How my laptop is actually on a bunch of books and like boxes, and just, it looks nice, but it definitely doesn't feel like here. So it's
crazy. No, I'm just gonna stop right there, and we'll go back to this.
Noah's been very respectful and gracious through this whole process, and he's a very, very smart kid. And Darren, we had a ton of laughs doing that first interview, and that was a lot of fun. I know we had like technical difficulties here and there, but that was, you know what, we're both learning on the spot, and he's become a good friend, him and Noah as well. It's been great just to catch up with them.
So Darren sent me the raw footage through a Dropbox link, and I opened it, and I was just watching it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that this is something that we did. And I mean, I know that we did it, but it felt like there was something higher that was doing it through us. And throughout this whole time, it feels like something higher has been working through this entire project. Not just ATTM, but The Chosen and everything. It's all one. And we all know what that higher force is. It's the love of God. It's the Spirit of God. It's the Holy Spirit.
I've had the opportunity to interview some just absolutely amazing, I'm not going to say just actors, but people. Then Nick Shakur, oh my goodness, this dude is boom. And just so many interviews, Raina, Kirk, George, Kian, Justin. Come on, we all love Justin Overlander.
Noah, for some reason, thought that I would be a good choice to interview cast members and the creative team of The Chosen. I'm not sure why, but I did it, and he never asked me to do it again. And ultimately, at least for the fans, I think that was for the best.
So I heard about you after The Chosen, and I didn't know what you were all about. I knew you were affiliated, but I didn't know much more about it. And when I wrote to you guys, you said to me, we'd like to see if you'd like to be a host. Would you just send in a video, of course, with the questions, and I sent it in. I wasn't able to do it for 3 or 4 weeks. I couldn't get to it. And then finally one day I just said, let me just get this done and over with. And I slapped something together, and I sent it, and that was it. Well, Noah got back in touch with me and said, that was great. And I'm thinking, I don't know what's so great about it. I'm glad he liked it. And in looking at some of the other host videos, I thought that mine was awful. But, hey, that's how it goes. And that's how I got involved.
So what brought me originally to Against the Tide Media was through the Chosen fan page on Facebook.
I looked back at my Facebook history and I found that I had liked it or found Against the Tide Media sometime between April 15th, which is the first time that I had posted on my own page about The Chosen, and May 24th was when I joined the Against the Tide Media community page. So I must have found it through the Chosen fan page and maybe a video that Noah had uploaded on one of the interviews for Against the Tide Media to the YouTube page, which was either Liz Tabish, Justin Overlander, or Adam Drake.
Well, Barb typically beats me to things. So I think she had found out about The Chosen, Against the Tide Media. I heard about Against the Tide Media and was quick to like, comment, and become a super fan of all things Against the Tide Media. And that was June 2020.
I originally first started watching The Chosen through the YouTube live stream leading up to Easter, when Dallas Jenkins was doing, a Chosen episode every single night leading up to Easter. And at one point he mentioned the Chosen fan club on Facebook, and so I joined that. And that's where I saw Against the Tide Media posting about their interviews that they were doing. And they had already started doing interviews, but the interview that I first saw was the one from Nick Shakur. And so I went on their Facebook page and started looking at their stuff, and I wanted to keep learning more about The Chosen.
In May, I was the high bidder on an auction in the Chosen fan auction page, and that was a personal note from Kian Kavousi, which was produced by Against the Tide Media. So I was very excited to find Against the Tide Media and started watching all of their videos through that.
One day, randomly, on my Facebook feed, the first thing that popped up was the casting call for hosts for Against the Tide Media. Because I interview people for my job, I was like, well, I love The Chosen and just, financially can't give a lot, and so I can give my time and my talents, and so I'd love to help that out in any way possible. And so that is what originally brought me to the Against the Tide Media family.
It's a great family here, and I'm still getting to know new members that are joining and people that have been here. I'm looking forward to connecting more. But I've talked a lot with Noah, and I've talked a lot with Darren as well, and it's just great people.
I became good friends with Noah and the Bennett family. I have not met any of you yet in person because of this COVID thing, because I do travel down south quite a bit. So I look forward to that.
I've connected with a lot of wonderful people through Against the Tide Media, and thank goodness all of them agreed not to press any charges.
The Against the Tide Media community, because it's made up of fans from The Chosen, that community alongside the Chosen community has just been incredibly loving and incredibly supportive. Facebook can be a place, like other social media platforms where, there's, people can post divisive things and, sometimes there's drama and things that are going on. But the Chosen fan page and also the Against the Tide Media fan page are just so full of love and support for the Chosen and for Jesus and the Bible. And I really love being able to talk with people from all walks of life. We'll become Facebook friends. We'll celebrate each other's birthdays. Even if someone lives halfway across the world, we will still celebrate together and feel like family. And so I really enjoy the Against the Tide Media family. Like, I can't even call it a community, I call it a family, because everyone is just in it together, and we all provide different talents, different gifts, and it's really cool to see how it comes together.
The community up Against the Tide, I think, has played a key role in how Against the Tide Media started and continuing to grow. And like I mentioned earlier, half of the beauty and success of the show has been the community, the bonds that are made between fans and cast and crew. I mean, it's just been such a great group of people just coming together who are passionate about this project. And I mean, whether you're a believer or a non-believer, it has been the love of God, the Holy Spirit, that brought us together onto this project. And I'm thankful for every one of our ATTM hosts: Darren, Timothy, Steve, Raina, Jenalynn, Janira, Anthony, Kent, Justin, Tera and Barb, Giselle, and our Facebook moderators as well: Tim Farley, April, Kara, Judy, Jane, Elizabeth, Michelle, Julian. I mean, they're just such great people, and I'm thankful to have them in my lives. And if I forgot anybody, call me. Let me know.
And I've been really blessed because The Chosen's brought so many just genuine people into my life, and I've been able to connect with so many great people with Against the Tide.
So I personally have just really loved getting to know some of the other hosts, and also some of the people in the Against the Tide Media Facebook group. So some of the moderators and admins for the group, getting to share their talents and strengths and getting to know them, and also getting to know some of the people that I've interviewed. I've had some really good conversations with them after interviews, and it's been really special to connect with someone and to have that develop into a friendship after, not having met them, and then getting to interview them and getting to share about your life and their life, and that just, can spark a friendship. So I really enjoy that.
I've had the extraordinary good fortune to conduct interviews with actors Sean Sharma and Steve Shermett, and actress Liz Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, and the very groovy musicians Dan Hazeltine and Matt Nelson. And if you haven't seen any of these interviews, you should watch them. They are very informative, and I'm relieved that my association with these very talented people has not caused any long-lasting damage to their careers yet.
That's probably been my greatest gift of being an Against the Tide Media host and being associated with Against the Tide Media is the friendships established. So first of all, just Barb and I, we have become deeper friends because of how much we communicate because of being host with Against the Tide. Also, just the Bennett family. It's been great. I've been able to reach out to Donna when I had a medical question about a loved one. We pray for each other's family, so that's really neat. Barb and I went to a Christian Worldview Film Festival and met some really neat friends because of Against the Tide Media. So Stephanie Parker, who owns a business behind these shirts. And then with the Zoom rooms, really cool to get to hang out with Noah James and Amber Williams, the two Vanessas, Jordan Ross. Definitely have loved and appreciated the friendships built because of Against the Tide Media.
And I think the most exciting thing about following The Chosen and Against the Tide Media are the new friends that I've made along the way, of course. And Tera and I have been friends for over 20 years, and we've done some fun, adventurous things together. And I would have to say that being hosts together for Against Tide Media is one of our greatest adventures yet, and hopefully will go on for a long time. And then as I've gotten to know Noah and his mom, Donna, and his sister, Jenna, we are just so thankful to get to know that family and get to know Noah as he's expanded Against the Tide Media, and very, very excited about meeting them in person for the first time when we are at the Sermon on the Mount coming up very soon.
Just had great opportunity to connect with these people, these creative people whose hearts are really turned towards their craft and creating something of value, something that not just entertains or informs, but almost, it reaches down in your heart deeply.
One of the great things about the community and the bonds and the friendships that we make is that it expands itself. Just a few examples. I remember when we finished Giavani's interview, Giavani reached out to me and recommended that we get in touch with Nick Shakur. He contacted Nick, see if he wanted to do the interview. He said yes. I mean, Nick and I and Darren, well, we're buddies now. And Giavani.
You realize, right? You guys are the only ones that actually going through the process of getting everyone, because I don't know what it is. You guys are so likable, so supportive. We all want to do this, like one by one. I remember when Nick's interview came out, I texted him and said, "Hey man, awesome interview." He's like, "Hey, you want to do it too?" I can just give him a call. I'm like, I mean, I didn't mean to get. I just want to say a good interview, and he said, "No, I think they would be happy." I'm like, okay, so just give him a call, and then you guys are the ones getting everyone. Like it's like so special. It should be.
It's been such a great connection with you guys. I mean, seriously, I mean this from my heart. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not only doing this whole interview, I'm making friends right now. Nick out of the blue contacted me and said, "Hey man, what's going on? Because of the pandemic. How you doing?" Giavani, his mom's been really sick. She's doing better. In Michigan, he's like, he contacts me, "Hey, what's up, brother?" And I'm like, so I'm in the mix of all this. George was so cool. George just went. George, I just asked a couple questions and he was off and running. And then I find out he's a stand-up.
Yeah.
And he's used to just going. And every interview has been fantastic.
It's just
and nobody's been there's so much humility in this band of The Chosen. Nobody is like, "Well, do you know who we are?" You never feel that. It's like, "Hey, what's up?"
That's what I love about this community. It's connecting people in such a positive way, in a genuine way.
And it just kept on growing and growing. Another example, when we finished Nick's interview, our soon-to-be moderator, Tim Farley, he reached out to me and basically said, "Hey Noah, these are some great interviews that you're making." And he recommended that we did an interview with Raina Osby, who has her own show now on Against the Tide, 53 Questions with Raina, so be sure you check that out.
The Against the Tide media community has meant a great deal to me. It's a place of connection for not only The Chosen, we're fans of this amazing show. We unabashedly admit that. But we also connect for prayer, humor, concerns between people, and then just discussion about elements of faith, elements of entertainment, especially The Chosen. Also another show that we've embraced called The Shift, which is another amazing show that's on the fringes, coming out soon.
Hey, Brock Heasley, the writer and director of The Shift here, and I want to wish everybody at Against the Tide Media a very happy first anniversary. Noah, Jenna, everybody there, the whole Bennett family and everyone were some of the first fans of The Shift, some of the first people to look at The Shift and say, "You know what, this is something really special and we need to tell people about it." And that was so important to me, coming at a time when we were just starting to get the film out into the world. The Against the Tide media community threw their weight behind that film in a way that still, I'm still so very grateful for, because it's because of you guys that we got into the minds and hearts of so many other people who saw in this film something really special. You know, after seeing the support that you guys have given to The Chosen, my prayer was simply that you would see in The Shift something similar to that, a similar ambition, treating faith seriously and treating story seriously and trying to raise the level of what we're doing with faith media. And you guys saw that in The Shift, and that's because your hearts and your minds are open to it. And so I am grateful. I've had such a fantastic experience.
I feel like I've gotten to know the fans of The Chosen and fans of Against the Tide Media. They've become some really fun friends that I've met on Facebook, so that's exciting. And then there is even a host that I've discovered that we may be distantly related, so that's pretty exciting.
My brother and sister-in-law came and visited. It's the first people we've had since COVID-19 destroyed our globe. And they'd never watched The Chosen. And my brother's like, well, what are you doing? And and I'm a writer. And I'm like, well, I've got this gig with this show. And I said, I'd really like to show it to you. So we watched the first 4 episodes, and my brother's like, this is the best faith-based thing I've ever seen. And I write for The Encounter. So he's actually, and he's like, this is amazing. I go, I know. I go, what is with this? This is the first time I can say, especially for something that is ongoing, I'm going to promote the crap out of this thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
As much as I can.
I can tell.
I know quality when I see it. And Dallas and their screenwriters are amazing. And the cast, you included, you guys are just hitting marks that have never been done before. You're making the gospel real. You're making it real.
I envision season 2 to only gain momentum for season 3.
With season 2 on the horizon, oh gosh, I am just so excited for all the things that they get to do that they haven't done yet.
I just hope it keeps reaching people in a positive and relatable way and keeps moving people. I mean, it's very humbling when you hear people reach out and say how much this show has impacted me and just so many other people. And just hoping it continues to do that.
Well, ultimately, that more people see the show and hear about the love of Jesus. That's my ultimate hope and excitement for season 2. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to jump in.
I'll tell you something. I am very much looking forward to the next season of The Chosen. And I envision that they're going to get their 7 or 8 seasons. And after that, who knows, you might get an AD after that, following the life of the apostles all the way through. Man, I love that.
I am, of course, looking forward to another season of The Chosen. Maybe not as much as I'm looking forward to another season of another streaming series, which I won't mention. I'm very curious to see how the relationships will play out and to see new characters introduced.
The Chosen is about Jesus, but it is about the people surrounding Jesus. And I've already loved, how intentional they've been with spending so much time on the other characters in addition to Jesus. And so I'm really excited to get to know the other disciples and the other characters that we will meet for the rest of the show.
Yeah. Boy, I am so looking forward to the days ahead. I believe it that Dallas is going to get his goal of 1 billion people, because this project is driven by the love of God. That goes further than any one of us can imagine.
As we've been saying for the longest time, groundbreaking entertainment, not so much just entertainment, but bringing forth the greatest story ever told in a way unique, significantly unique, that people could step into this show not know any context, enter into the narrative and enjoy it, and find something of not just entertainment value, but beauty and meaning. That's what I think of when I think of The Chosen. Beauty and meaning.
I'm just hoping that no one gives away the ending on the internet because I'm really curious to see how the story resolves itself.
There's a ton of really good lines in the show, a lot of really good nuggets.
You know, my favorite single line is probably different than anybody's. There's so many good lines.
It's hard to nail down a single line because there are just so many great. The writing, of course, is wonderful, and the lines are wonderful. But I have found that the line from episode 7 of season 1, where Jesus and Nicodemus are talking, and Jesus says that God loves the world in this way. And you know, John 3:16 is probably for a lot of people, it's probably the first verse that you've ever memorized. It's probably the first verse that I've ever memorized. And just that version of John 3:16 is just really special, and it's just a beautiful way of hearing that line.
It's when Jesus comes in contact with Mary and says, "You are mine."
Speaking as a writer myself, I think my single favorite line from the first series of The Chosen would have to be, "I have called you by name, you are mine." And I thought it was epic and very inspiring.
Jesus comes in and he says that's not for you, and that he is enough, and that he will never leave us nor forsake us, and that he knows us by name.
The scene where Peter gets called by Jesus to follow him, and then he goes home and tells Eden. And Eden turns around and she's tearful, and she tells Peter, "He chose you." And in fact, a friend of mine, after hearing that those were my favorite line from The Chosen, season 1, made me that. He chose you. And you know, I love that. Jesus chose me, and so I really love that line.
I think my favorite line from The Chosen in season 1 is when Jesus is talking to Tina, the woman at the well, and she says, "I am rejected by others." And Jesus replies, "I know, but not by the Messiah." I think that is so important for today, because there's a lot of rejection by people, from Christians even. I mean, it is so important how you represent Christ, because that's really what being a Christian is. The word Christian, that means Christ-like. And I think it's so important for people to see that, because even though you may be rejected by others, Jesus will never reject you. He will always have his arms open wide, ready for you to come to him, ready for you to rest in his loving arms.
My single favorite line is when Jesus is about to heal Peter's mother-in-law, and he's talking with Eve, and he looks at her and he says, "I see you." That's the line that gets me. It encompasses everything that this show is about. Jesus came not only that we know God, but we're known by him. And that scene to me just resonated so deeply, because there's a relational quality to Christianity that cannot be discounted. And in one line in season 1, they got it right.
And then I found out that the line is not original to the show. It was actually stolen from a book that was written by the prophet Isaiah. And if he's a member of the Writers Guild, there's going to be litigation.
I envision great things for ATTM. I have no idea where we're going to go.
I know that we're going to continue to do great things. I mean, this is only in its infancy.
I'm hopeful that in 2021, Against the Tide Media will branch out to cover other Christian shows. I'm not going to mention any, of course.
We simply want more people to know about it, to experience it, and to celebrate it.
Just growing this great community of people that want to connect in a positive way, want to help each other, not only just grow in their own lives, but help each other grow, how we can make this world a better place, how we can make each other's lives better, and how we can be of service to each other and uplift one another.
We're going to expand our sphere of influence, and that our number one goal is to create a community that shares in the beauty and meaning of this amazing web series called The Chosen.
Man, I cannot wait to watch more interviews. I can't wait to conduct more interviews. And this year, as Against the Tide Media host, we're going to go to Sermon on the Mount and do some behind the scenes. So I cannot wait for that. In fact, I have this The Chosen calendar, and it's exciting that my first entry is in February, and it says Sermon on the Mount. So I am really excited to go to Sermon on the Mount as Against the Tide Media host. In fact, I have my sandals. And I got this in the mail. I have not yet opened it, so I'm going to open it right now. For Sermon on the Mount, I try to get an authentic satchel. And I'll be taking this with me. So I'm excited about that. Ooh. So I am looking forward to a year of listening to amazing interviews, seeing what content Against the Tide Media puts out there, and being a part of Sermon on the Mount, where we give our fans some great content from Against the Tide Media.
We've seen the Against the Tide Media community is so important and so vital to the success that the Shift has seen so far. And we're grateful to you guys, and we hope that you have a fantastic second year, and maybe we'll come back on the show. You think we can come back on the show sometime? We'd love to talk to you guys again. Thank you again.
I believe that Against the Tide Media is going to grow, and it's going to spread, and it will very likely mutate, and after a while, who knows, we might even have a vaccine for it.
It's been good, it's been fun, and I'm happy to be part of this organization. All right, God bless you all. I've had a great time working with you, and I know you brought me on because you needed that very serious side to this. Use me for Easter, I'll use my turkey outfit here.
Do you think I need a haircut?
You see what I mean? Let's just continue to have fun, okay? Continue to have fun.
I don't know what 2021's gonna bring for Against the Tide Media, but I do know that I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm ready to go in whatever direction that God is guiding me. And I'd like to thank you guys for being so supportive for 365 days. And I'm looking forward to what the next 365 days is going to bring for us. Thank you so much. You have blown me away. You have blown the entire Against the Tide Media crew away. I can't thank you enough for that.
On a personal note, Noah and I have already decided on January 8th, I believe it's Wednesday, January 8th of 2022, we're going to have a long discussion about the past year, which is this upcoming year, because we're that confident that The Chosen is going to continue on its track, in so many ways, bring Jesus to the world in a profound manner. So to be part of that, it's pretty cool. It's been a privilege to be part of this all and to meet these amazing people. So let's just keep moving, shall we?
On behalf of Talking Back with Tera and Barb, congratulations on 1 year with Against the Tide Media. We are stoked for you.
Yay, great job, Noah.
Noah, so happy for you. We're excited about year 2 through 20 and being a part of this journey with you, but biggest congrats to you.
Yes, definitely. Just looking forward to what God has in store for you, Noah, this year. So thankful for 2020 and excited to see what he has in store for you for 2021 and beyond. Congratulations.
So, congratulations.
Okay, guys, happy ATTM anniversary. Cheers. That's some good water. Hey everyone, it's Noah Bennett, founder of Against the Tide Media. Got a quick favor to ask that is as fast as the click of a button. If you're a fan of The Chosen and ATTM special content on this channel, you can easily show your support by liking this video, clicking subscribe, and the notification bell. It's a quick and free way of helping us and The Chosen to gain momentum. And you'll be one of the first to know when new videos are released. This will help us continue to grow and spread our message to the world through interviews and other special features, such as Zoom rooms, chatting with The Chosen, 53 Questions with Raina, and Talking Back with Tera and Barb. Actually, only 12% of our viewers are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Only 12%, meaning that almost 90% are not. Please join us by becoming a subscriber, as Season 2 of The Chosen will be released sometime this spring. I believe The Chosen to be the most incredible faith-based series about the life of Jesus in cinematic history, and I'd love for you to join us in helping The Chosen, along with other Christian entertainment, to reach as many people as possible, and it really helps so much. Thank you so much for all of your incredible support, and remember, like, subscribe, notification bell. Thank you again. So since it's our anniversary, I thought I'd share with you guys a few secrets that I've never told publicly about how my family has played key roles in Against the Tide Media. Number 1, my mom, Donna. You know, my original plan was actually not for Against the Tide Media. I was going to use one of my other YouTube channels. I think it was Funnies and Facts About the Classics. Some YouTube channel where, like, we did movie reviews for classic films and TV shows, but that's a whole other thing. Sometimes when I go back and look at my old work, I cringe. It was my mom who said, "No, I think you should create a whole other channel for this." And oh boy, I am sure glad she said that. She also helped by encouraging me to do this whole interviewing thing, telling me to go for it. So, truth is, Against the Tide Media would never be here without her. I've never publicly shown my original logo for Against the Tide Media. Here it is. Yeah, I know, that's pretty bad. It was also her who encouraged me that might need some work. Number 2, my sister, Jenna. Ever wondered who came up with the title Against the Tide Media? Now you know. She's also our creative consultant on many projects. She's the one who does our color work for the interviews and a lot of graphic designing, which I have no idea how to do. So a big thanks goes out to her. Number 3, my dad Glenn helps us very much financially, so huge thanks goes out to him. He is responsible for our merch store, officially turning Against the Tide Media into an LLC, and taking us to the Sermon on the Mount, which we are leaving for very soon. So, there you have it.
And now for the outtakes.
My original connection to Against the Tide Media was through Ethernet, but I have since upgraded to Wi-Fi, which means I can now use any streaming device, and it makes it a lot faster, and it's much more convenient.
In interviews with our favorite actors, and also looking forward to interviews with the...
So that evening I had my first call with Darren Scott Jacobs, which is an evening I will never forget. No.
Within the ATTM community. I hack off the end of that. I kind of lost my way a little bit. I am lost. Help me home. Anyway.
I'm also looking forward to interviews with the season 2 actors that we've learned to love, even though we don't even know what characters they're playing yet. So really excited about that. And also and while we love the actors that are in front of the camera all the time, there are even just...
Barb,
This is something much bigger than Noah and the people in his charge. Janet, cut that. Cut that. Let me get back to this. You think about this. What do you envision for ATTM in 221? I have no idea, but I will say this. This past year was surprising in how ATTM expanded, and this... No, I don't like that either. Cut that. Let me think about this just for a second, but I want to keep motion. Let's keep motion. 1, 2, 3. What I envision for Against the Tide Media is simple. We're going to expand, and I envision that happening because that's exactly what we did in 2020. I like that. I like that. You do whatever you want. You know what you're doing.
Another
that in and of itself has been the hallmark of Against the Tide Media. That wasn't bad. You need to keep that one somehow. Change it out a little bit, whatever. Beauty and meaning. Boom. Okay. And out. There you go, Noah. I hope that hit the mark somehow. Take care, bro. I hope you're resting well, and I'll talk to you soon.
But unlike now, I didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera back then. And for one thing, I sounded like this. I suppose I could have hosted the interview myself, but unlike now, I didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera back then. And for one thing, I sounded like this. Something like this. This. Well, I guess I can cut that later, but yeah. Retention. Or Anthony. Let's see. Okay.
There's me and my private jet.
Yeah, I'm recording all of this. This is gonna.
Yeah, I just realized that. I'm in a lot of trouble, ain't I?